So today we finally get the backstory, and so I put in the comic book that came with the game. So you don't get very many details from the game itself because you're expected to have read that.
Reading.
Well, it's like a comic book. It's not like reading.
Nonetheless, what do they take us for? Some kind of reading people?
It's true. This is America. Make a TV show if you want people to read the book. Yep, I didn't spend last night here.
Are you okay, Gabriel?
Sure. Great. Why?
I'm worried about you.
If I were any better, Grace, I'd be dead. Now, what's up?
You got another package this morning. FedEx from Germany.
FedEx's trademark.
I was expecting that. Where is it?
Well, it kind of came open, but I salvaged the contents. There was a letter from your great-uncle Wolfgang in a journal.
The package just came open, huh? How'd you like the journal?
Someone has to look after you.
Someone?
In case you don't know it.
Yeah, you've been reading my horoscope again, haven't you, Grace?
Just read the journal carefully, Gabriel. Please.
Or you could just tell us the pertinent information if you're so worried.
Yeah,
I got it.
I don't like reading things.
St. George's books.
St. George's.
Oh, Professor
Well, that's the
Hartridge,
joke.
I'm glad you called. Did you... You did? Wait, slow down. The Aigris? Really? You think that's them? The wheel within a wheel? A goon badagri, huh? Well, that does sound like it. Dambala, the snake. That's the wavy pattern at the bottom, okay. The 1791 slave revolt in Santo Domingo. Well, why would the Veve show up there? Okay. 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 Look, I'll come over as soon as I can. Okay. Relax, Professor. I'm excited too, but you're gonna give yourself a heart attack. Okay. Thanks. See ya.
I wish you'd tell me what's going on. I swear you're gonna step into a hole you may never get out of.
Don't look so worried. No one knows what I'm doing. I'm perfectly safe.
It's not as
I'm
if
getting
people
some
have been
great
dying
stuff
or
in the book.
anything.
Besides, there's something about all this. My dreams.
What about your dreams?
Nothing. I'll be careful, I promise.
All right, time to read Gunter Ritter's
Gabriel
journal.
reads through the pages Wolfgang marked.
God.
Hang on.
He reads of Gunter Ritter's journey to Charleston as witch hunter, hired by the townsmen to solve a series of ritualistic murders.
The village elders gather at the site of a brutal, ritualistic murder. Not again. This is the 6th. What sayest thou, Mayor Crodwell? All eyes turn to a short, square man. I say, devils from hell are among us. 'Tis worse than the trouble they had up north. Mother of God, protect us. The grim vigil is broken by the sound of a horseman's galloping approach. An oddly dressed stranger dismounts. Thou art the witch hunter? Ja, Herr Ritter, as thou requested. And paid well for. I am Mayor Crodwell, and these good brothers are from the Charleston Council. I trust thy journey over the seas was uneventful. I was well protected. So shall we be, now that thou art with us. The witch hunter rejects further formalities, turning instead to the gory scene spread out before him. 'Tis the work of witches, if not the devil himself. I must make that determination, Herr Crodwell. Well, When the witch hunter finally answers, his voice is grim. Ja, it is witchcraft. There can be no doubt. The witch hunter will find the guilty one. Thank Jehovah. The sound of a delicate footfall quiets the angry men. Into their midst comes one who shines like copper in the bright moonlit night. Eliza, why art thou here? A letter for the witch hunter, master. Give it to me, child. As their eyes meet, something passes between the witch hunter and the slave. Something like recognition. Dear father, I received thy missive. I know thou art angry, but my journey here was not in vain. The colonists here have stumbled upon a true evil, magic, dark and old. It is unlike anything I have seen on the continent. Please, write me more about thy work in Saint Dominique. There is a pattern around the bodies that recalls thy stories of those killings. I shall begin to question the local slaves. Do not fear, the talisman will protect me. I only do my best to fill thy shoes as Schottenjäger, beloved father. As thou hast often told me, we must prepare to sacrifice all. Your son, Gunther. At the end of a scorching summer day spent investigating, Gunther Ritter finds himself at the slave quarters of Mayor Crodwell. The sight of a familiar figure is a welcome relief. Mistress Eliza, might I trouble thee? It is very hot in thy colony. Wouldst thou have some water? It is not my colony. Come inside before you fall down. So, you are the famous witch hunter. That is why I'm here. Why do you do that, hunt witches? There are things that should not be. Ha! Yes, witch hunter. There are many things which should not be. Tell me about thyself, Eliza. The woman stares at her questioner, unable to fathom his interest. But when his face remains sincere, she finds herself speaking. The bitterness in her voice surprises her. What is there to tell? My real name is Tetelo. My people were strong and beautiful. My father led them to prosperity until few survived the slavers. I was taken to the West Indies. Later, when my first master died, I was bought by Crodwell. He brought me here. Is he good to thee? Good? Are you mad, witch hunter? The door bursts open, breaking the moment. Eliza, my pretty... Herr Ritter, I did not expect to find thee still about. It is long past sunset. Gunther finds himself strangely embarrassed. I was just leaving. Good night, Mayor. The next day, Gunther follows a lead to the Crow's Nest, a seaman's tavern. So, the victims have all been seamen. That's what I said. Men around here getting awful jumpy. Last man what went down's a captain. From the Merchant's Pride. Nah, he'd been a slave once. He gave it up, you know. Too much blood in it for him. Some are squeamish about some things. As he heads through town, Gunther sees a distant flash of skirt and hurries to catch up. Mistress Tetelo, good day. Might I aid thee with those packages? Don't call me that. Eliza is my name. Do you want to get us both in trouble? I'm a slave. I am sorry, Eliza. There are no slaves where I come from. I am not familiar with the proper procedure. Forgive me. We are not in your homeland, nor mine. If you owned me, I would have to accept your attentions, since you do not leave me alone. That night, Gunther cannot sleep. He struggles with an oppressive restlessness, an anxiety he cannot name. The light tapping at the door takes a moment to register. Was? Tetelo? Yes. I want you to tell me about it. About what? Your homeland. Yeah, certainly, please. Take a seat. Gunther finds himself telling the beautiful slave about his father, about their family role of Schattenjäger, shadow hunter, destroyers of evil, about the talisman that goes with the title. Yes, I can feel the totem's power. And yours. I am tormented by thoughts of the Tentalo. I want such things. A white man would not understand. It is called Zinstik, the unbidden. When a man and woman are brought together by the universe, they have no choice. There is always a reason. A child must be born, a village saved. To fight is living death. Yes, I can see that. You would not have come to me. I did not want to be like the others. Good. It is better that I chose for myself. You understand? Yes. Later. This will be very challenging. I hope the universe knows what it is doing. So, my love, do I. Several weeks later, in the office of Mayor Crodwell. Witch hunter! Thou hast been in Charleston for 6 weeks. I want this witch caught. There's progress. The patterns, the rituals. My father has encountered it before. The magic is African. African. African! Art thou saying our slaves are responsible? I shall kill every in the state, by God. Insolent bastards. Be calm. The massacre is not the answer. I am sure there are no more than 5 or 6 involved. These covens work in secret. Art thou sure this is not simply an excuse for spending so much time in my slave quarters? The words once spoken hang between the two men. No. Give me 1 more night. I have set a trap. By tomorrow, thou wilt have thy witch. It had better be so. The example we make of this coven shall never be forgotten. And then thou, Herr Ritter, can go home. That same night, oh, the she is a terrible mistress. Where are my men? Where are my... He fights the darkness to the throbbing of drums. The witch hunter thought of a perfect trap, and into it had fallen the one person he had least expected. Himself. When consciousness returns, he finds it stranger than any dream. Dambala Oedo, Ur Kolevmon. Agun Badagri, Vinigidanu. Dambala, our great serpent god, come and aid your people. Agun Badagri, vengeance is taken, power recalled. Blood for blood, as your thirsty jaws demand. As the dagger plunges toward him, Gunther calls on his master. Mein Gott! The talisman crackles with energy. And suddenly the witch sees the man beneath her. Gunther! No! It cannot be thee! Before the two can recover, Gunther's men make their belated attack. God take thee, witches! The men of the coven fight bravely, but surprise and numbers take their toll. A trap! Save a Kirsi! Go now! Run, Tetelo! In a horrified daze, Gunther watches his men capture the coven. Then, without a word, he slips away to confront the witch herself. I know you do not understand. I beg you, hear me speak. I am waiting. My father was not just a chief. He was a black Bokar, shaman to the dark gods that gave our tribe power. There came a terrible drought. Nothing my father did appeased the gods. After many died, Ogun Badagri finally answered. He named the price of rain. Me. My father thought he could trick Ogun Badagri. He transferred my soul temporarily into the body of another girl, and then he killed her. But Ogun Badagri was not fooled. Angry at my father's betrayal, Ogun sent the white man. Our people fought hard and were slaughtered. Everyone still living was taken. Many more died on the voyage. But why kill these men now? What good can I do? Magoon is willing to forgive, but to regain power, our captors must die. Our humiliation be revenged. I cannot let thee continue. I cannot forget. Of course you cannot. I have been living in the past, but since you came, I have seen other paths for me. Together, you and I... Ha! Thou knew it was thee I sought all this time, and thou let me love thee. Let you? I had no choice. How do you think I felt? In love with my own hunter. This was destined. You and I must make a new way together. No! I do not know. I must go think. Gunther, do not betray me. Mayor Crodwell, all were captured but the leader, a female. The witch hunter must still be on her trail. God has delivered this murderous coven of Satan unto us, so he willed the witch. Yes, but who brought this witch among us? Thou, slave, speak thou her name. Thou speaketh not, and yet thy face is familiar. Looking into the coven member's bloody, copper-colored face, a horrible realization comes to Crodwell. I know where to find her, and the witch hunter. Follow me. Meanwhile, alone in her cabin, Tetelo prepares a ritual circle, her tribe's Veve, and enters the spirit world. Father, I call you. Come speak with your daughter. Father, I have come to ask you, please, release me from my duty to the tribe. You would betray your own people. You did, for love. Your life's only purpose is to pay for that mistake, not repeat it. Perhaps it is better to let the tribe go. This is a new land. There will be new people here. There is a way outside the dark gods. These white men will never give you anything unless you use the power. You must destroy this man that tempts you. His kind will only despise you in the end. No, I don't believe that. Daughter, I command you. No! With a quick motion, the Veve is smeared. The contact is broken. Oh, Papa. In a clearing nearby, Gunther wrestles with demons of his own. God, give me an answer! The answer is not one he expected. His revulsion and fear are instant. His dagger is in the air before he's conscious of the decision to throw it, or sees clearly its destination. No! Brother Ritter, finally I find thee. They have found the witch. She was taken to the town square. They found who? Crodwell's slave woman, Eliza. She must have thought the devil would protect her, for she was still in her cabin. Never even tried to escape. Wait, I came to warn thee. Brother Ritter! Gunther reaches the town square, where the soft glow of firelight fills him with terror. Crodwell, stop! What is it, witch hunter? Or should I say witch lover? What does thou imply? I ask for a fair trial, that is all. This is murder. Oh? And what is it called when town money is spent for a witch hunter, and he protects the witch? Lays with her in utter blasphemy. Perhaps the good townsfolk would be interested in hearing this story. The crowd quiets and turns toward the two men, sensing a confrontation. But this... Well, are you still under the power of her seductive ways? No, I merely wish to question the witch. But if thou wish to burn her secrets with her, then do so, and quickly. Gunther! The witch hunter pushes his way with pretended coldness to the edge of the angry crowd. Gunther! He watches, transfixed as the flames grow higher, and Tetelo, abandoned once more, begs her old gods for vengeance. Dambala! Agun Badagri, hear your wicked daughter! I call upon you to revenge your people, destroy this town and all within it. Dambala, the great serpent, strike! But the only reply is the taunts of the hate-filled mob. Speak, witch, speak! Thy devils cannot save thee. Burn, devil's whore! Her agony and humiliation twist in Gunther's mind. She, the martyr. The crowd, the howling demons. It cannot go on. No! Tetelo, I empower thee! God forgive me. The power of the talisman and the power of Tetelo's dark gods conjoin in a terrible synergy. The heavens boil over, bleed electricity, and hurls their destruction with deadly accuracy at the saints and sinners in the square below. Now, my brothers! Tetelo's handful, freed from their bonds, attack. They are joined by Charleston's other slaves, the old gods fanning a spark they had forgotten was there. Dambala! A hate they had swallowed for too long. Mercy had been left in the fields of Africa and the holds of stinking slave ships. And it is Charleston that will pay this night. Gunther sits in the eye of the storm. While some part of his brain hears the sounds of the massacre, his eyes refuse to acknowledge it. He stares at the talisman in his hands as though focusing on a light, until even the light is polluted. And he can no longer deny. Look at me! He will not. He cannot. Look at me. I saved thee. Your guilt saved me, and this, but you betrayed me. I could have loved you. I would have left everything. What have I done? You have made me my father's daughter. Goodbye, witch hunter. It's a sordid tale.
He reads about Gunter's meeting with a beautiful slave woman, Tetelo, and of Gunter's tormenting urges for her.
For like a
Oh,
day.
bastard.
He reads of their physical union and passion, and of Gunter's investigations into the murders. The victims were all crew members on a certain slaving expedition to Africa, it seemed. The second to the last entry described Gunter's plan to set a trap for the coven committing the murders. He found the name of one of the surviving members of the crew, a man now living in the West Indies. Gunter has spread a false rumor that the man is returning to Charleston. He himself will impersonate a sailor and allow himself to fall into the hands of the coven. Naturally, Gunter has arranged for able-bodied assistants to follow and attack the coven before they can do him harm.
Halsey, son of a bitch, wasn't he?
Gabriel turns to the final entry of the journal.
Dear father, I offer these final words as apology for the harm done to our secret office. The woman I wrote of, Tetelo, was the witch I sought. I have committed terrible crimes. I loved this witch, then betrayed her, and then used our sacred family power to free her and aid her in destroying this colony. The talisman is gone. Tetelo took it. I can but pray for thy forgiveness, for thy swift recovery of the talisman, and that my punishment in hell will be long and bitter. Thy undeserving son, Gunter. I actually looked on YouTube for how do you do a German accent.
The letter is
Clicked on
written
the
in
wrong-
German.
This is the wrong letter.
The only
Trying to look at Wolfgang's letter.
Wolfgang's letter says,
Dear Gabriel, please read the enclosed journal carefully. It might help you understand your family's special obligations and our current predicament. God be with you, Uncle Wolfgang.
So, because I insist on thinking that Malia Getty is our current day witch, is she like a
Times Picayune,
distant cousin?
dated June 22nd, 1993. Disgusted with the state of the voodoo murder case, Gabriel turns right to his horoscope. The shadow upon you is no longer reversible.
Wonderful.
She has the same skin color that we read about.
Yeah. Although it could still just be the original witch.
Yeah, how do you know it's not the same broad?
So that wouldn't be
I've
like
got some
cousins. They
things I
would
need
still
to
be
do.
unrelated.
Right.
It would just be, like major cougar territory.
Yeah, she fucked a lot of people in that family over many generations. That'd be some kind of record. Let's talk to the professor. I'm sure nothing bad will have befallen him.
Of course.
Hey, Hot Ridge, what's the good word? Hot Ridge?
Who'll feed his fishies?
Ah. Oh, God, not again.
Doesn't look too good, does he?
Does look a lot like how Crash died. It's weird that they killed him but didn't take his notes.
These notes look interesting.
Take that dude's notes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the Agri tribe, and he wrote that the People's Republic of Benin, maybe that's the modern day country that that tribe came from. And then the name of the gods that they worshipped. Weird, you know. I find it was interesting that in the comic book they abbreviate Agun Badagri as just Agun. Like, is that his first name?
I don't know. It's one of those damn drummers.
Yeah, we have not seen a drummer at the police department before, to my recollection. I'll look at him later, but it actually, the subtitle gives something away, I think.
Spoiler alert.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask?
So a lot of people have been dying.
Is dead.
What? What are you talking about? I let him go yesterday.
Yeah, and he died
Yeah,
after that.
And I watched him die yesterday at St. Louis Cathedral.
At the cathedral? Guess he was trying to get a last-minute A-train ticket, eh?
I don't
Poor
think so.
bastard.
I think you should go find the body at the morgue. He was killed by the voodoo cult. Crash said.
Crash said. Did he mention pink elephants, too?
Aren't you going to investigate?
Civilians. Did you actually see someone kill him?
No. Actually, I was with him when he died. Could have been poison, though.
Yeah, well, when they get the body in, they'll do a quick autopsy. Standard procedure. If it's anything other than an overdose, I'll get a report. But it won't happen. I know these guys. Lock them up overnight, and they tend to overdo it the next day.
Your professionalism is astonishing.
Truly.
There's been another murder. A professor at Tulane.
Oh, Christ, you're not gonna start this again.
Pointing out
Just
murders?
listen. This guy's name is Hartridge. He was a professor in African Studies at Tulane. Yesterday, I went to see him about the voodoo murders case.
Isn't it interesting that they made the
He agreed
professor
to do
of
some
African
research for
Studies
me.
be a white
He
guy?
calls me up this morning, tells
I
me he's
mean,
onto something big. And when I get over there,
It's not
the
impossible,
guy's
but
dead.
I don't know.
You know, you're really getting your ass in a sling over this thing, Knight.
What, people
It's
being
not about
murdered?
me. Look, Hartridge's death looked just like Crash's. I'm telling you, they were both murdered. And by the same people who did the voodoo murders.
Did either Crash or this new guy have their hearts ripped out?
No.
Maybe not.
Then there's
physically.
nothing to link either to the voodoo murders, M.O. Besides that, the case is closed, Knight. If the coroner's report asks for a homicide investigation on either of these guys, fine. But it's not going to be related to the voodoo murders case unless we find damn good reason to do so.
But I'm the link to the voodoo murders case, don't you see?
Look, if I were you, I wouldn't repeat that to anyone. 'Cause if I weren't an old friend of yours, I might take you seriously and lock you up. As it is, maybe you should start keeping your mouth shut. Not involve other people with this shit if you think it's so dangerous.
He's got a point there.
Hmm.
Anyway, we need to get him to reopen the case, and he wanted 3 things. He wanted proof that there's a voodoo cult, proof that they're a threat, and he needs a lead. So let's show him that there is a real voodoo cult.
This is a newspaper clipping about a murder committed in 1810. That murder is an exact match of the voodoo murders, right down to the marks around the bodies.
This does sound like the same M.O. 1810?
Still counts.
1810. They killed then, they're killing now. Isn't that proof that they're likely to kill again? That they are a threat?
Sure. If there is a voodoo cult, they're a threat.
Okay. So we also have to prove that it's a real voodoo cult. And the notes from Hartridge's desk suggest that.
Take a look at these notes. They're from Professor Hartridge,
Look at
Tulane
those notes.
University.
Wouldn't it be kind of illegal
Yeah?
to take...
What about it?
From a crime scene.
Yeah.
They confirm
Well,
that the pattern from the murders
they
is
said
of
it's not a
African
crime.
origin.
Yeah, but we're pretty sure it
Really?
is.
It's incredible, isn't
But
it?
it's not taken from
Something
a
like
crime
that
scene
showing
if they
up
don't
here?
say it is.
I guess it wasn't a crime
It's
scene
been
yet.
here for quite some time.
Although I
so
don't
it
think
seems.
that would fly in court. They'd be like, no, it
I'm
wasn't a crime
impressed.
scene yet.
Okay, you've convinced me. The murders were done by a legitimate voodoo cult.
Excellent.
Okay, but we still haven't given him a lead. And we don't have what we need to do that.
Can I?
So I'll just ask
How
him.
can I convince?
You still need to give me a lead on the cult.
Like what?
Well,
Also, isn't that your job? You're the policeman.
yeah, so he believes everything about the crime, and he just like, well, I don't know what I would do about it, so forget it. We
That's
have,
some excellent policing.
we do have the scale from Link Partridge Train, and okay, so
I'll let you.
give the game a little bit of credit. We're looking for a python, which is not exactly indigenous, so let's take a look at this drummer. One of the Getty drummers watches the police station. Why does he?
What
Why does it
makes
say
him a
that?
Getty drummer?
Yeah, what makes it? Who said anything about the Gettys? The narrator giving away a little bit. There's no real good motivation for going to the cemetery, I'm afraid. But there is a new message on this wall.
Maybe we just like cemeteries.
Mm-hmm. So let's mark this one down and see if we can find more
Let me
letters
get
of the
these new
alphabet.
marks down.
Mark that shit down.
And we have to use the notes on the other notes.
Of course you do.
Because he won't just do it. Okay. All but 3 of the symbols are in common. Okay, fine. So as long as we can do the cryptic quote or whatever. Okay, DJ, keep eyes probably on GK, but do not harm. That's the message that looks correct. GK is Gabriel Knight.
Clearly.
Okie dokie.
But they don't want to hurt us yet, so it's okay.
Do not harm us, yeah.
Because we're sleeping with Malia after all, so, she
Yeah.
wants to keep us around for that purpose.
Well, do we know that that Molly is the one giving these orders?
No.
I mean, so Kazunu told us that Marie Laveau was a front. So how do we know that Molly isn't the front for this tribe? Maybe she's under control. We don't know that she controls it.
I suppose.
On the other hand, her skin is like
I'll leave a
Tedalo's.
message of my own.
What you gonna say?
Okay. To be honest, right now I don't know why we do this. So we're gonna say basically the same thing. Conclave tonight. And then we want him to bring the little coffin. Later we're gonna put something in that coffin. The name of that coffin is Seke Module. So you have to know that that's eyes to get the Y. And M, harm. M-A, I think? Yeah. D-O-U. So O and then U from butt. And then L-E. And we're done. E. Yes. Okay. And it doesn't tell you when you've got the right one. You have to... That's a pretty tough puzzle. You have to been writing everything down. Anyway, later we'll go do something about that. Right now, what would make sense is that we would get like a tracking device and put it in there.
Did they have that when this was supposed
Well,
to be?
they'd have radio, yeah.
Oh, right.
As long as you knew about where it was.
It's funny because stuff used to be possible,
so
but just
dark
way
in here?
harder.
Dr. John?
And if we head to the museum
Hello?
right now,
Uh-oh.
this is one of the rare action scenes in a adventure game. As soon as we have control, I'll go up and I'll turn on the fan. This is dumb. And then the fan like distracts it because it starts vibrating somewhere else. I don't think that would work.
Seems unlikely.
You bastard.
Good day, Mr. Knight.
Hello?
That thing just tried to kill me.
He did? I am sorry. The museum is closed
So he's your
today,
guard
you see,
snake?
and we were not expecting visitors. But if you will excuse me, Mr. Knight, I must go look for him. He is incredibly valuable.
Hey, do we have any of his
You don't need to ask
scales?
twice. I'm out of here.
Well, he was
By the
touching
way,
us.
You might want to lock your door next time you're closed.
That seems like a good policy.
Not a bad idea. Goodbye, Mr. Knight.
Goodbye, Mr. Creepy.
I guess we could just try tweezing ourselves, but let's head back to the bookstore.
Maybe Grace will spot it for
Maybe
us?
Grace will spot the scale.
What happened to you?
Who, me?
Snake.
Nothing. Why?
Well, you're kind of a pale green color. Come here.
Pale green, you say? Charming.
What's that on your face?
I'm sure you'll tell me.
Looks like a sparkly or something. Got it.
I love it when you pick stuff off my face, Grace.
Everybody does.
Well, excuse me.
Princess.
Yeah. Excuse me, princess. That's terrible. I
Yep.
did a really bad job. Right there.
Looks like the python left me a souvenir. Very interesting.
Hey, look, a snake. No, that doesn't work. Oh, scale, I guess. Hey,
You would
look,
think
a scale.
looking just at the museum scale through the magnifying glass would do it, but you actually have to look at both of them.
Of course you do.
Yes. Okay, it's a match. And I guess...
Hey, that's a lead, right?
Well, it's gonna have to do. Is that true that it's really specific to the snake? Like if you found two scales, how could that...
Well, nowadays we'd probably do some kind of... Can you do a snaky DNA test?
Snake.
Like, because everything...
I don't think
you should be
so.
able to compare two things.
Yeah, you
couldn't
should,
you?
but I don't think that they can do like a match like we have. I mean, they could, but I don't think they're set up to do it.
Ah.
They can tell you it's a snake, but I don't think they can
We
sequence
know it's
the...
a snake.
Yeah. So let's give the scales to Mosley, and we're pretty much done.
Of course, he only has our word for it that one was from Lake Pontchartrain and
Mostly
the other
not.
was...
Well, that's something.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like we've broken any laws lately that would give them reason to suspect us.
Oh, have we ever?
I have these two snake scales. One's from the crime scene at Lake Pontchartrain. The other's from a snake in the Voodoo Museum on Ursulines and Charters.
Is this common? Do they all look alike?
Not at all. They're both constrictor scales, and the coloring is the same. A python's coloring is quite individualistic.
Path.
A python?
Mhm.
That's right. Hardly an indigenous snake to
There are lots of them in
Louisiana.
Florida, though. People get them and then
Somehow,
they just kind of let
some
them
way,
go. It's actually
the
kind of
Voodoo
fucked up.
Museum's python was at the scene of the Lake Pontchartrain murder.
Well, I'd call that a lead, all right. Certainly suggests certain lines of inquiry at the museum. Not bad work, Knight.
You're
If
welcome.
we can tie them into this voodoo cult, we just might have something.
Well, it's a voodoo
Okay.
museum,
I'll
so
reopen
there's
the case.
that.
I hate to admit it, but you've done some pretty good detective work here, Knight.
And
Well,
you've done some
you know what they
excellent ass
say.
sitting.
Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Well, point taken. Glad I could inspire you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll check around the department, but I have a feeling I'm on my own. In fact, I better lock up this office just in case I step
Lock
on a
up the
few
office.
toes. Come on.
We've never actually seen Mosley leave his office other than the first day when he went to the crime scene. How many detectives spend all day in their office? Don't you
Well-
like go out and interview people and
You'd think.
maybe that's why he hasn't found anything.
Yeah,
'Cause
because he
he-
sits around all day.
He actually hasn't done anything.
He probably plays solitaire on his... Did he have a computer?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so he's probably just playing solitaire all day.
Now, lay low and let me handle this.
Yes, we will definitely do that.
Yeah, fine.
What is he going to do?
Who knows?
Beignets?
Beignets.
Alright. Only one more thing to do today. The Crash mentioned that drummers have a code. And we didn't get an opportunity to do anything about that after the last day. So let's see if we can figure something out about that.
Could you
Sure.
Could you research rada drums for me?
Rotodrum? Sure. I don't think we have any books on that topic in the shop, but I'll contact our suppliers. Assuming any of them will extend you any credit.
Tell them it's an emergency.
A book emergency.
Uh-huh. I can see where a Rotodrum book would be incredibly urgent. Anything else?
I can't.
Okay. It's time to close shop.
So it is. Have a nice night.
You too. See you tomorrow.
Where's the guy? Like he was literally right there before she left the door. And now he's not there.
Do kids today know what a busy signal is?
Yeah, I still get busy signals sometimes.
Okay. Like, I guess when you try to call, like, to make a doctor's appointment or something.
Right. Okay, so now we know what this means. That's Gunter. That's Tetelo. He let her burn. This is a new element, the fiery will within a wheel. That'll come in handy later. And we know what this talisman is about. This talisman is it's supposed to go along with the line of Schattenjägers. It protects them. It gives them magical power. But Gunter screwed up and used it to help Tetelo, and she stole it from him. So
Which was kind of rude. I mean, he did help her eventually.
Well,
she was kind of on fire at the time, but, you know.
Yeah.
Not all the way.
Tetelo was a little harsh on Gunter, I'm going to say. He did, did he have a lot of choice? Would he have been able to stop those villagers?
Probably not.
You would think not, yeah.
What an awkward meter for that little selection of poetry.
Yeah.
At least the first line. I didn't actually read the second line yet. Because I was like, ooh, what an awkward meter.
Mm-hmm.
Ah! Oh, look at that. What on earth? Is that a chicken?
Yeah.
That poor chicken. It's all...
What is it?
Messy.
What's wrong?
There's a big
Gabriel?
mess in the middle of the
I see
floor.
it, Grace. Hold on. There's no one in the shop, and I know there's no one in back. It's okay.
Okay? Gabriel, that thing is still barely alive. How could someone do this?
People
With
do
a
all
knife,
kinds of
maybe?
fucked up shit.
God, don't even start. We should call the police.
Should they, like, kill the chicken the rest of the way? Or
I'll take care of it.
Try to...
But Gabriel...
I said I'll take care of it. Why don't you go get some coffee? I'll have it all cleaned up before you get back.
They know where you live now.
It's gonna be fine.
I don't
Now
think
go on.
it is.
He had his shoes on. Who sleeps in their shoes?
Are you sure you don't want to go home? I could close the shop today.
No. I'd rather keep busy. I'll be fine. At least that creepy guy is gone. Ugh. Not that they aren't still watching. Anyway, speaking of keeping busy, we got that book you ordered in this morning. The one on Rada drums.
That was fast.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Great.
Some kind of overnight book courier.
It's pretty fast.
Yeah, they didn't even have Amazon Prime back then.
Nope.